Why not give those good old enchiladas, soft tacos, and workday sandwich wraps an easy makeover with a total flair? My fun-colored roasted red pepper and garlic flour tortillas are not only visually appealing, but take you to a flavor nation. These tortillas are soft and easily foldable. In fact, there is enough flavor that you don't need any fillings. I love the look and taste of sandwich wraps and pinwheels with colorful flavored tortillas. I used to buy red pepper and spinach tortillas for sandwich wraps when I had guests. Well, mainly my sister because she loves my wrap sandwiches. Store-bought no longer and never again. Let's check out my modified basic white flour tortilla recipe with the cool spin of added roasted red peppers and roasted garlic. For my roasted red pepper and garlic flour tortilla recipe, you'll need red peppers, garlic cloves, all-purpose flour, baking powder, salt, shortening, and water. First, we need to roast the peppers and the garlic. I'm using my toaster oven because I don't need a large oven to roast what little we have to roast today, but preheat it to 425 degrees. You're gonna line a baking sheet with parchment paper. You could use foil too, either works, and then set that aside. We're gonna cut 2 large peppers in half. But go ahead and place your garlic cloves. You're gonna need, I like 5 to 6 garlic cloves. I like a lot of garlic in mine because I've used 4 garlic cloves before and you can't really taste it. So I've moved to 6 garlic cloves and that seems to be okay for me. And then you want to remove the labels from your peppers. You could use 6 to 7 small peppers and just leave them whole. But if you're gonna use the large ones like these, then go ahead and cut the ribs out, which are the white, kind of the veins. And we want to go and get the seeds out. We don't need those at all. I know a lot of people roast peppers whole, but they roast much quicker and you don't have to turn them over when you roast them in half. So I prefer just to do halves, unless you need the whole pepper for aesthetic reasons or whatever. Okay, and then just put them cut side down on your sheet. And we're using a dry pan here. So you notice how easily those ribs just come right out. You can pull them out with your fingers too. Place your peppers with the garlic on the tray in the oven for 30 minutes. Just set the timer. Check the peppers and the garlic periodically. If it looks like they're burning, just rotate them, move them around the pan. I usually don't have to do anything with the peppers. 30 minutes is fine. You might need to move your garlic around a little bit, but the peppers should be great. Peppers and garlic are just out of the oven. Notice they're nice and have a nice brown char on them. While they're still very hot, we want to use some tongs and we want to place them in a heat-proof bowl. I'm just using the glass bowl. I'm going to put the peppers and the garlic both in there. We're going to let these cool for 10 minutes. Cover the bowl with plastic so that we can create a little bit of condensation on the inside so as the peppers cool, their skins will loosen. And then we'll be able to remove the skins because we really don't want the skins in our tortillas. Once the peppers have cooled 10 to 15 minutes, go ahead and take off the plastic. And then you just want to remove the skins from the garlic. You can just peel those off. And we're gonna place the garlic and the peppers in the food processor. So the peppers are pretty easy to peel off. Find a place on there where you can grab a skin and then they'll just come right off the pepper like that. I'm not saving the skins, but I'm just putting them in a composting pile and putting the peppers in the food processor. So again, notice how easy those skins just come off the pepper. Okay, with the red peppers and garlic in the food processor, we're gonna turn the machine on until they're pureed. Stop periodically, scrape down the sides of your machine and even the lid because they do splatter. All right, just a few seconds are all you need. Notice that nice puree. It's just right. With the red peppers set aside for a moment, in a large mixing bowl or regular bowl, you're going to add 420 grams or 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. If you're measuring it out, make sure that you fluff it, scoop it, and level off in the measuring cup to get that 420 grams. To that, we're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons, which is 6 grams of baking powder, about 7 grams, which is 1.25 teaspoons of salt. And with your paddle attached, just turn the machine on low just to mix up the ingredients. While the machine is on low, we're gonna add 72 grams, which is 6 tablespoons of shortening. We'll allow the paddle to break up the shortening. You could also use your hands and break up the shortening into the flour like you would pie crust, but I find the paddle works just fine. Go ahead and remove your paddle. Looks like our shortening is combined pretty good. Got a few chunks in there, but that's totally fine. We're going to scoop in our roasted red pepper and garlic. Look how red those peppers are. This is a nice, pretty tortilla. These peppers and garlic smell very nice too. If you like that combination, that smell, you're gonna love this. We're gonna switch to the dough hook. Let the dough hook do the work for us. Turn the machine on and let it start combining. You can put it on medium or so just to get it moving. And you'll notice as the red peppers start to blend in with the flour mixture becomes crumbly because there's not enough liquid. Scrape down the sides periodically so we can get that flour mixed in. Okay, notice how crumbly that is. Okay, time to add liquid. Depending on how much liquid that you have in your peppers is going to determine how many tablespoons of liquid you add. So I have a cup of warm water here. I'm just going to start adding it a tablespoon at a time. And I'm going to give a little bit of break between each tablespoons to give the machine enough time to blend it in with the flour. You may need 4, 6, or 7 tablespoons. It's all going to depend on how dry your environment is. And then again, how much liquid is in your peppers. You're looking for a dough, like a bread dough-like consistency. You don't want it to be sticky. You just want your dough to be tacky, and you want it to be all cohesive. Right now it's still broken up. We need a cohesive dough to where it's spinning around in a ball in your bowl. And once you get enough liquid in there, then you're gonna knead for 5 minutes. Okay, notice our dough is coming together. It's no longer crumbly. All right, our 5 minutes are up and our dough is nice and well kneaded. Notice how it's just staying on the dough hook and it's in one nice mound spinning around in the bowl. So look at that pretty dough. Nice and red. You can see spots from the charred garlic and the charred peppers. And then you can see little bits and specks of the peppers as well. Notice how soft it is. It's not sticky, but it is tacky. So that's the right amount of water and liquid we need in this bread. So you can leave it in the bowl that I just had it in, or you can transfer it to another bowl. And we're just gonna let it sit aside for at least 30 minutes. You can put this in the fridge and let it sit overnight. And you can roll out your tortillas tomorrow or the next day. So as long as that's set for about 30 minutes, it allows time for the gluten to develop a little bit to give us that stretchy tear in our tortilla when they're cooked. We don't really need any flour on the surface right now because this dough is not sticky. We're going to divide this dough into 10 large pieces equaling about 76 grams each, but you can eyeball it, for 10-inch soft tortillas. Or you can divide this into 20 pieces for 20 small tortillas. Those will be about 5 inches in diameter, and that's about 38 grams each. So you can eyeball it and just start cutting and then just figure out by what it feels like and how much you want. I am actually going to do 10, so I'm going to get 5 out of one side and 5 out of the other, and I'm going to end up weighing mine, but I'm going to start with a rough cut. 1, 2, okay, that's my 5 there, so I'm going to get 5 out of this side. All right, and then I'll weigh them just to make sure that I have that 76 grams each. While keeping an unfloured surface, you're just gonna roll these to a ball. You could do this in your hand, but I find when you do this in your hand, you end up with cracks around it. They're gonna show in your tortillas. Pull up the sides like a purse at the top. We have an opening at the top and you can pretty much smooth all around. And then take the ball, stick it on the surface, unfloured. That's why I haven't floured it yet because we need the friction from the board. Place your hand behind it and then start rolling the ball. And you're going to be smoothing out that dough because it's going to spread as you roll it, and you're going to end up with a smooth all around. If we start out with a smooth ball, when we go to roll these to make tortillas, our tortillas will end up being smooth and round as well. So I'm going to do this for each of these dough balls. And notice it happens fairly quickly once you start getting in the rhythm. Then you can just manipulate them very fast. Just a few passes, rotating them at each pass, and you get a nice round ball. See, look how nice and tight and round that is. Cover them up, and we're just going to let them sit for about 15 minutes before we roll them out into tortillas and bake them. Heat a dry 12-inch skillet over medium-high heat, And our dough balls are ready to roll out, so we're going to create an assembly line. Go ahead and have your rolling pin and some flour. We're going to need plenty of flour to roll out our tortillas. Start with one dough ball, flatten it out with your hand just a bit to get it started. Flour your rolling pin, and then just start rolling it out. Make sure you've got plenty of flour on the board. Turn the dough over as you roll, and we're looking for that 10-inch in diameter circle, unless you're going for the small ones. So if you have 20 small dough balls, you're going for 5-inch circles. Keep flipping your tortilla over just to keep it from sticking as you're rolling. If you find that your dough is retracting a lot while you're rolling out, just stop for a few minutes and let it get used to its shape, and then continue rolling. You should be able to almost see through your tortilla. That's how you know it's been rolled out enough. You know your skillet is warm enough and hot enough to cook the tortillas when you splatter water in it and it sizzles. Ours is ready. In the dry skillet, you're just going to lift up your tortilla and place it in the skillet. The tortilla cooked for about a minute and a half or so on one side until it looks dry and it's a little bit brown spots on bottom. And then we're gonna flip it. While one tortilla is cooking, go ahead and start rolling out the next one. This is the assembly line part. Just keep your eye on the tortilla that's in the skillet so that you don't forget to turn it over and it burns. If your tortilla is browning too fast, turn the heat down. If it's not browning quick enough and it seems to be getting hard and it's not pliable, then that means your temperature is too low. So keep it about a medium heat the whole time. Okay, we've got a little bit of browning on our tortilla. Take a look at that. Let's flip it over. Another 30 seconds to a minute on this side. It may take you 1 or 2 tortillas to figure out your temperature. So the first one is, to me, is never really the prettiest one. There we are. We've got some brown spots in the back. So I like to keep my tortillas on a foil-lined plate and keep a sheet of foil on top of it just to keep them warm. You'd also keep them in a 200-degree oven on a plate like that, and that'll also keep them warm until you're ready to eat. Okay, add your next tortilla and then continue flattening out the other. As you're cooking your tortillas and you start to notice some flour burning, just wipe out the pan. You can do this over the stove or in a bowl that's near your skillet. Notice we're getting some bubbles. That just tells us our tortillas are thin, and as they cook, they just start to separate in between the layers, but they will flatten out as they cool. All right, the last one is coming off the skillet. Notice how nice and brown on both sides it is. I'm just gonna add it to the stack. So that's 10-inch round roasted red pepper and garlic tortillas. Let's take a closer look. Yeah, notice a nice pretty stack of red. That's a more orange color tortilla, but wouldn't they make a nice pretty pinwheel? So they're nice and soft. They're brown on both sides. So they're well cooked, and they are so foldable and soft, it makes them perfect for soft tacos, burritos, pinwheels, whatever. And then now let's give them a tear. Look at that nice, stretchy, layered tear, just like a regular basic flour tortilla. Oh, and they smell so nice. I can smell the red pepper more than anything, but you can get that hint of garlic too. Again, you can see the tear from the layers of the baking soda. And then of course the gluten stretch, allowing them time to rest. So yeah, that's a great tortilla. Talk about a pretty and fun take on a regular white tortilla. They make those wrap sandwiches, pinwheels, and soft tacos stand out. I enjoy eating these hot and fresh out of the pan as they are. However, they're great with a layer of homemade avocado yogurt spread with some garlic salt, a layer of sliced turkey, a little spinach, and some crumbled or shredded cheese like Mexican cojita, queso, or Monterey Jack. Or roll it up and dig in. Now that's yum and fun. I absolutely love these tortillas. I hope you give them a try, and I hope they're as good as you expect them to be. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time, go bake the world.